the space in my house, so I decided to find a way to do punk rap, etc. in my own room. So that's where I am right now. And that's where we're going to be for, I think, probably the Saturday shows. I would prefer to do it like this all the time, but I can't because the only light that I have is coming from the window that my laptop is currently taped to. So the thing is, I can't do that if, if it's not sunny out, because you'd have a big shadow because the only light is from behind me. So anyway, today, this week on Punk Rap, etc., on our sketchbook sessions, we are going to be doing Taylor Swift, my first and only Taylor Swift concert. This is a quick guide through of the past ones we've done. Hilary Duff, Bryant Park, Neil Diamond, Madison Square Garden the first time, American Idol Live, Nassau Coliseum, 2006, Neil Diamond in 2008, and where did he? Also Madison Square Garden, yeah. Nickelback, Jones Beach Theater, Jonas Brothers, Nassau Coliseum, Idina Menzel at the Tillis Center, and then Carrie Underwood at the Nassau Coliseum as well. And I finished this last week off camera because, again, like I said, I can't really get really close like how I'd like to, like with my head like here. You can't, that's just my nose, but you know what I mean. So I can't get super close because where I was filming in the kitchen because I can't like put my head in the way. But the same thing happens here. Like if I were to go like this, like you'd see my head, and I don't want that. So I finished this off screen and I painted her face in it. I really love this spread. So for anyone who doesn't like know art as much, I don't know. When you're looking at like a newspaper and it's just open, instead of a page is one page and a spread is the two pages together. So like this is a spread I think works really well together. This is a spread I don't think works as well. This is quite opposite from each other, and maybe that's fine. And this I think works wonderfully as a spread. I think they work really well together. So, and the thing is, all I wanted to do for the Taylor Swift one was to draw her in a dress, but I'm not gonna do that again. Because why? Let's do some research on the internet. Because this was 2011. This was the Speak Now tour. Speak Now tour. Taylor Swift. And I was 14. She had released 3 albums at this point. This was kind of the aesthetic that she had at this stage, like this like way of dressing. She's very young. I can't decide. I know this is my only Taylor Swift one. So I like want to do it justice because I don't intend on I'm not going to another concert for Taylor Swift anytime soon just because pandemic. So I was thinking of painting, but now that I'm looking at all of her pictures, I'm kind of like, I just kind of want to do a couple of sketches, maybe. The other ones were paint, and these were kind of a lot of time, and I have time, but I don't have the effort. No, I'm kidding. I just really like all of her outfits. Because I remember her changing her outfit. That was a huge thing I remembered. So this tour is really funny because I found the tickets for this concert before I got them. So my mom was like, "We got tickets." I was like, "Yay!" And she was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know." So I wouldn't have known, but I was like, not as excited as I should have been, I guess. And I'm sorry, Mom, but I didn't mean to find them. You asked for something on your calendar and they were right there. So I might just what I remember from this concert most is that we were pretty far away. It was at MSG, and we were like decently far away. I don't remember being able to see her super well. Something I do remember was this big ass staircase that she had on stage, and I thought that was incredible. But I don't really want to draw a staircase. But I'm looking through all these photos, and I really love her array of costumes. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to do a couple of sketches and color them in, so that it kind of looks like I was doing it, like, while I was there, you know? Yeah, I think that's the vibe. She's got, like, 4 major outfits that I really love from this. So we've got this, like, purple number. The purple was really what I remember because Taylor Swift's Speak Now is, like, this cover. You can't see that for shit. This is Taylor Swift's Speak Now cover. And it's just so beautiful. I remember, I say this, like, every show, but, like, I don't know how I didn't know I was gay because I was obsessed with this cover. I'd look at all the pictures of her, and not in, like, a, wow, I love Taylor Swift kind of way. It was like, wow. That sounded gross and disgusting. But she had the purple was really a big signifier for this specific time in her touring. So I think the 3 main dresses I'm seeing here, that red one doesn't come up again, but it does. She has other red ones on. And the thing is, we were, like, super far away, so I couldn't see super clearly. But, you know, enough to see her. Yeah, okay, the red dress comes up a couple times. This one. Okay, girl. I think I like this one better. I think we're just gonna go with, like, a nice, like, quick, sketchy, or, like, in my style kind of way of drawing her, and then we'll go from there. I kind of want to find her in another outfit to complete the looks. This is a very iconic age. Any age of Taylor Swift was kind of iconic, to be real with you. Just because she was, like, she really branded herself in a way. I don't care what you say. Taylor Swift, I mean, like, people just love to hate on this girl for absolutely no reason. Honestly, she's, like, the most, correct me if I'm wrong, but, like, for me, like, she's, like, the most unproblematic person. And people just love to, like, fuck with her for no reason. I'm like, guys, she didn't do nothing. Like, stop. Alright, we have enough. We have a couple of good ones here. So we have the purple one, the gold one, the, like, long gold one. Oh, okay. I want 5. So the purple, the red, the banjo. Wait. Okay, if we're looking through these photos. Purple. I don't want to do one of her from behind, so we're not going to do that. Purple, banjo, the gold, the shimmier one, and then the red dress. And then, do we want to do the black one? I don't know that this is from this tour, so we're just going to go with the long gold one. So we're going to do this red one. That's a beautiful photo. Whoever took these, bravo. I like her sitting with the ukulele. I think that's sweet. Her with the banjo. She did this, like, heart thing all the time during this tour. Beautiful photos. And then her in this big dress, the big gold one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, perfect. So, yeah, we're just gonna go and we're gonna draw them. Did I bring pencils? Oh, I have them here. Amazing. So, as I was saying, people shit on Taylor Swift for no reason. I have always been such a very large fan of her, and I think that that's, I've talked about this a couple times. Okay, first of all, I'm sectioning off this sheet to be, like, 5 drawings. I kind of want to do, so, like, I'm going to speak art for 2 seconds, and then I'll speak everything else. So I want to make sure the gold one isn't near the rest of them. So this is her with the banjo. And then this is her in the long gold dress. Gold, purple. This is her with her hands up. Where the hell's the other one? Oh, the banjo. Banjo, and then her with that swishy red dress. Yeah. Alright, so that's good. Red, banjo, sparkle. You know, the technical terms. So, basically, I have been a large fan of Taylor Swift for a long time. I started off knowing her, I think, because it was like, I think she was one of the first musicians that I started to like as a teenager. Because I loved, like, Avril Lavigne as, like, a youngster, and I loved, like, Ashley Simpson. I don't know how nobody knew I was going to be emo, because I loved all these, like, kind of emo-esque women. I remember one of the dumbest comments I've ever heard in my entire life was, I remember being like, oh, I love, like, skulls, because Avril Lavigne had, like, skulls on everything, and someone was like, skulls are for boys, and I literally, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't all humans have skulls? What? Who would ever, anyway, people really be out here trying to gender parts of the body that everyone has, but whatever, right? So, anyway, I got her album. I don't remember why, but I obtained Taylor Swift, her self-titled album, and I remember actually thinking to myself, oh, is that country girl who, like, sings about her guitar? And I was right. That is correct. She does sing about her guitar, and she was a lot more country back then than she is now. And I remember kind of being, like, apprehensive to, like, listen to her at first, because I was kind of like, I don't think this is going to be my vibe. So that's funny, because I think now people would kind of say that they wouldn't think that she is my vibe, and that's totally cool. People really have diverse music stylings out here, and that's great. I've just been listening to a lot of A Day to Remember recently, and, like, I had been so into pop for a while, and then I was like, I found myself not being able to focus on, like, my work that I was doing. And I was like, oh, I wonder why that is, because I focus so much better with, like, really, like, loud and motivating music, and pop music for me is, a lot of it just is not that. So anyway, I remember listening to it and automatically falling so in love with what she was saying, because how old was I when her first album came out? We'll find out. It's 2006. I would have been 9, but I think I found it when I was just a little bit older. Probably when Fearless came out, her second album. I was 11. Yeah, I probably found both of them around the same time, because I remember vividly being in middle school, and specifically, like, Teardrops on My Guitar was, like, my jam, because I also was completely unnoticed by my middle school crush, as literally everyone is. I don't know anyone, well, I do, but it's so rare that, like, in middle school that you find somebody who liked you back. At least for me, I, like, didn't start dating until I was 16, and I know that that's, you know, still pretty early for certain people that I know, but that's just my reality. But anyway, you know, having somebody who identifies with that in your music is, you know, very helpful when you are a very small and confused little individual who has feelings for somebody. And I had crushes in elementary school and stuff too, but I just really, really liked somebody in middle school, and this was, like, helpful for that, as well as other things. Like, I just really loved that she could storytell really well in her music, which is something I didn't find in modern pop music that I wasn't such a fan of, I think. Like, even as a kid, I remember being like, what's the point of this? Which is why I also really liked Carrie Underwood, because I thought that she had a great way of storytelling. And I think that's why country music in general is pretty loved. And I can understand why. I'm not like, everyone's like, oh, put on anything but country. I have a love for, I think, probably all types of music, if it is the right artist and it strikes me in the right way. I think that any genre of music really has the capacity to capture anyone if you just find the right kind. Like, listen, some people really don't like screamo, but there are definitely, like, alternative bands that I know a lot of people really like, even if they're not super into alternative music, you know? So, anyway, with Taylor, I remember just being, like, with country in general, I was like, oh, this is so crazy, like, how well they tell stories, because pop music just seems to be kind of general, in terms of, like, the fact that they would just be like, there's this girl, and I'm like, okay, but what about her? Like, can you tell me more about her? Tell me more, tell me more. How much did he spend? You know, if you're gonna, I don't want to make this super realistic. I don't want to just. So, having somebody who could really well storytell was really interesting and very, new to me. I had it in Carrie Underwood, which was great, but not in, like, the stuff that I was listening to, like, on the radio. And so having somebody like Taylor Swift tell some stories, and listen, do I identify with every story Taylor Swift has ever told? No. Have I grown into a lot of the stories that she tells? Also, not no. Yes, I have. There's a lot of songs that I listen to now that I definitely didn't anticipate ever growing into, and I do. And there are some songs, like, when she wrote when she was younger, that I don't super identify with, but they're still, like, fun, and I still love them. That's, like, a big thing. Most of the time when I like artists, I tend to, like, either, like, yeah, they're good and I know, like, 3 songs by them, or I am, like, all encompassed by them. Like, all I want to listen to is them, and, like, I listen to them, like, incessantly, and, like, know every piece of their, music. And I think that that's, I was listening to a YouTube video the other day, and there was this guy who was like, there's the death of the album, like, people don't listen to albums anymore. And I was like, really? Because literally all I listen to is albums. It's so rare that I find somebody and listen to their music without going and searching to listen to their album. Just because I'm like, I believe in the fact that if you're gonna make something, that it should be heard in its entirety. Just me, but maybe, apparently. So, anyway, I got starting, listening to Taylor Swift, whose name I can't say without sounding like I have a lisp, by the way. Taylor Swift. I don't know. Hold on, I gotta concentrate. I want to get her eyes right. No, I have one of her songs stuck in my head. What's hilarious about not having a consistent style? So I'm just like, how do you draw people? Never learned. So, hold on. I don't like how I did her face. So I just want to do, so her nose is here. Doesn't point up that much. When you're doing, like, some things that are kind of more simple, it's easy to fuck it up more. Lips have always been a freaking nightmare for me. If I draw lips by themselves, great. If I'm drawing lips on a face, oh my god. I cannot get that shit right. I don't know what it is. She has very specific lips, like... Ugh, this is gonna cause me angst. Alright, hold on. Her head's not in the right place either. Starting over on her entire head. Will I regret that? Probably. And her hair comes here. But yeah, Taylor Swift is fun for me as an artist because I think as time has progressed, I have grown, she has grown, and she's like... How old is Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift is 30 years old.
So Taylor Swift is 7 years older than me. But she has grown as time has gone on, and I have kind of grown. I've grown also. And her stuff has kind of grown with me as, like, my life has progressed and changed. And I think that that's really special. Like, being able to identify with somebody's music, like, as you continue to live your life. I think I might just give her closed eyes. Ugh. Anyway. I can tell you that each of the times she's released a record, I have very much so identified with the except once we got to Reputation, I stopped feeling like that. However, every record before that, I definitely felt that way, that she very much so encapsulated the feeling of how I felt at the time, specifically as, you know, a younger child. Yeah, we might just make her close-eyed this whole time. Hers a little smaller than that. But specifically, like, I'm thinking about, you know, when I was in elementary school, I was listening to her, you know, original record. When I was in middle school, I was listening to Fearless. At the end of middle school, I was listening to Speak Now. At the beginning of high school, I was listening to Red. And then once I hit college, she released 1989. And man, then I stopped listening. But I've listened to every album of hers, but I definitely have not as heavily identified with each album as I did when I was little. So for me, you know, being able to grow up with somebody like that is really crazy. You know, to continue to identify with somebody and the music that they create is really cool. Like, that's awesome. That, like, she can create music that people can continue to fuck with, for lack of a better term, for, you know, so long. And she is a genius, to be honest with you. She has created, like, a little empire of her own, and I think that that is crazy. I think she's a fucking genius. I think she knows exactly how to market herself. I think she knows exactly how to get people to hear what she needs to say. I think she's genius, to be quite honest with you. I think that the team that she's been on, like the marketing behind, you know, her and getting her out there, I think has been genius. I think that the Easter eggs that she puts out into her own work is genius. I know it's like totally out of character for me to love her, but God, there's something about her that she just, man, she really kills it. She really do. I don't know if we're going to do watercolor on this or we're going to do colored pencil. I'm probably leaning towards colored pencil. After we ink, obviously. But, obviously. I kind of we're going to riff off this photo and not draw it exactly. I'm also going to pull up Facebook so I can check and see if anyone has commented, so I can comment back to them if they did. but I hope that this sound doesn't play. 7 comments. Oh, a country singer. How you doing? Hi to everyone. So, anyway, yeah, I'm a big fan, and even now, like, I don't listen to her music consistently. However, there's something about the way that she, like, I still watch her videos and stuff, and she's definitely progressed, like, as a person and as an artist, as time has gone on, which, and I always never understood why people would, like, shit on her, because I was like, what has she done wrong? Like, I just don't understand what Taylor Swift has done wrong besides date a lot of men. And that's not wrong. Like, go date who you want to date. Like, I don't know. People are so funny, like, and what they choose to crap on people for. Like, it's her gig. You want to date as many men you want to date. God bless. And the thing is, like, so many other people write breakup songs. And the thing is, they're not bad breakup songs. They're amazing breakup songs. She writes all her own music. You know. This wasn't talk about Taylor Swift, you know, but, you know, we be talking about Taylor Swift. So, for the actual concert, though, I was pumped, but I also couldn't see anything, because when I was young, I needed glasses, and just didn't say anything. So I was like, I don't need glasses. I'm fine. What are you talking about? So I just didn't ask for them. And I never got any, like, until I was older. Because why would my parents wouldn't know? And my optometrist, was like, no, you got good vision. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I just went along with it. But basically, I couldn't see much when I was actually at the concert, which is, like, hella unfortunate. And I remember being, like, really upset that I couldn't see anything, but I couldn't do anything about it. So I felt really bad because my parents, like, you know, bought the tickets because I was young. And I had a lot of fun. She's amazing, from what I can remember. I would love to see her now, but damn, are her tickets expensive. And I go to, if you don't know, from this show alone, I go to a lot of fucking concerts. And the thing is, concerts get expensive once you buy a lot of tickets to them. However, most of the concerts that I go to, I can understand why people think that going to concerts is expensive, but in all honesty, it's really not if you aren't going to big stadium shows all the time. If you're going to MSG all the time, if you're going to Barclays Center all the time, that's expensive. Whereas if you're going to, like, Brooklyn Knitting Factory, every place in New York just went right out of my head. Webster Hall, R.I.P. Gramercy Theater, Irving Plaza, Brooklyn Knitting Factory, but, like, Le Poisson Rouge, all these, like, smaller places, bars, like, if you're going to concerts there, it doesn't really get as expensive as you'd think it would be, because, you know, that is such a cheaper concert. As well as genre-wise, it tends to be that concerts that are pop-oriented, because, you know, they tend to get larger because the genre is just the most popular, those concerts are more expensive and they go to larger venues, whereas concerts that I'm going to, which are, like, you know, punk shows, don't really have that issue, because they are normally playing smaller venues, as well as the fact that, yeah, we're gonna let that arm go off the screen, and I don't care that you can't see her hand. Her hand should start here. But, you know, when you're not going to shows that cost a lot, you can afford to go to a bunch of them, or at least I can, because, you know, the good thing is you're paying for a concert and you're getting, because no punk person, no, like, alternative person goes on tour, like, just the two of them or the one of them, it's like hella people. Like, normally if you go to a concert if it's an alternative band, there's like at least 4 or 5 bands that play. So you really get the bang for your buck. And that's appreciated. I want as much money, and $20 for a show, plus like the however much you take to get there. Fact of the matter is, you're really not paying all that much if you actually think about it. $4 per band, basically. That's nothing. You couldn't even get a beer for that cheap. And that's the thing too, like, I don't drink, so at concerts and stuff, like, shit's cheap. I get my $20 ticket in advance, and then I go to, I get my $20 ticket, and then I leave. Not leave, I enjoy. And then, it takes me money to get there, obviously. But past that, there's not really, expenses. So, works out in my favor. Anyway, yeah, Taylor Swift is incredible. Big fan. And the concert, it was a Speak Now concert. I might have been, this is 2011, was I in high school already? I graduated middle school so I would have been in high school when this came out. It would have been a very, very, very freshman when this came out, and that's nuts to me. An itty bitty freshman. But, this coming out, and I had it was definitely out in middle school. Was it out in 2010 or 2011? 2010, okay, so I would have been in 8th grade. There's this one song that I related to this, crush that I had, and I remember I told somebody that I had a crush on him, and she was like, he's gay, right? And I was like, no, and then I was really sad. And also, he couldn't have given a literal single shit that I was alive, but that's just the way that middle school works, right? It's funny, because when I take pauses like this, I'm not meaning to sound sad, I'm just trying to focus on what I'm drawing. So, I had, related this one song to him. Oh, and he couldn't have given a shit. We were in 2 classes together. He's so gay, dude. I don't know how I didn't see that. She has no hips. Let me give her some hips. Taylor Swift's videos were such good memes. She memed us all. Yeah, she did. She's got some good content though. TBH, where's her? Alright, this is gonna be her hands. That's where her arm comes out to. So, having these songs to kind of go along with my life, and the theatrics of hers, because I was saying that all these shows were the shows with theatrics. So I came from Carrie Underwood having a huge bang as well with her theatrics, going right into Taylor Swift. Well, not right into, this is 2010, a whole year later. No, yeah, I guess a whole year later. I gotta check what exact date this was, because I don't know that I wrote this correctly. Taylor Swift, yeah, 2011. So, geez, such a weird thing to say. 2011? That was 9 years ago. Are you kidding me? It's fucked. But I was bopping along, and I think the thing that I would have preferred with this concert I think I was, like, kind of at the age where, like, first of all, I didn't really have a lot of friends in middle school, like, literally at all. Like, not a one of them. But at this, like, stage in my life, I was, like, kind of upset that I wasn't going to shows with friends. Because also I was upset that I didn't have friends. But I was kind of like, damn, like, this would be cool, like, to go with somebody who knows her music. And that's no shade on my mom. Like, I'm so glad that she went with me. And obviously they would have need to be parental supervision, you know, regardless. But I was, like, kind of, I remember thinking to myself, like, I wish I had some friends here to enjoy this with. I wish I had friends, period. Haha. Many good friends now, but damn, I did not when I was in middle school. I feel like that's just the way that it works. But, you know, I think Taylor Swift's songs were kind of the first ones that I could really, like, physically identify with myself, to, like, situations I had been in. So I think that was what was, like, great about Taylor Swift, being able to, like, see her live. It's worse. You ever draw something and then just be like, no, it was better the first way. And keep trying to draw her nose kind of upturned, but that is not gonna happen. Oh, it's so much worse. This is why I like drawing big, because sketchbooks don't super allow for that. It's a little too big, but we'll fix that. We'll fix that in post. Now I have to draw a guitar. Oh, it's lower on it. I always start with shapes when I draw. Something I've been trying to do while doing these concert things is working on my likeness. Like how much it looks like the person that I'm supposed to be drawing. And I'm not 100%. Nowhere near 100%. I think I could use some work, which is why I'm doing this. Because you can't get better unless you do it. Unless you practice. So that's part of the fun of these. I love drawing instruments because it reminds me that I know absolutely nothing about instruments. I'm like, oh, didn't know that there were this many frets on a guitar. You know the word frets, that's something. I also have to, letting go of, like, how to draw things when I'm drawing in my own style is a fun activity too, because when I'm drawing in my own style, like, the frets don't have to look exactly like they do in real life. Like, you can let go, girl. I just don't. It's 2:40. Well, that went way longer than I was supposed to. Love it when we're almost out of... I always say lead. I know that it's not lead that's in my pencil. But that's what I've said for years, so... I don't even know if these are from the same tour, to be real. It doesn't look like it. She has bangs here, but... And her hair was up in the other ones. But, I mean, she could probably just change it real quick, right? I don't know. I'm not Taylor Swift. She's, like, really capitalized on such a market, though. Like, she really has made herself. Remember when she won... I think she was, like, the artist of the decade or whatever? And, like, not gonna lie, yeah, she should have been. I can't tell you, like, anyone else who's really... I mean, like, there are incredible artists out there, but honestly, like, she's done a lot. She's made, like, holy crap, since... in a whole decade, in just the 2010s alone, She made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 records. Jesus. Literally one every 2 years. And each one of them, she has completely changed her style, completely changed, like, what she looks like, what she sounds like. Like, that's incredible. Good for you, girl. And, you know, I've fucked with all of it, most of it. I'm not super into the Reputation style. And Lover, I thought was fine. I wouldn't, like... It's good. And I'm sure if I took more listens to it, I would think it was better. But there's something about it that just, like, didn't really... I'm very, like, gut punch in terms of, like, the way that I perceive things. And if I don't automatically, like, if it doesn't automatically just, like, hit me in the gut, like, I consider it, and I will go back and I'll listen to it. But there's something about ones that, like, hit me when I first listened to it, and that wasn't this for me. So, got a comment that says, I don't know why I always have difficulty drawing guitars. It's hard. But honestly, it's kind of just like shapes. Like, that's just 2 circles and a triangle and then smoothed out, right? I don't know. Looks fine to me. And then it says, I also meant to say last time, but your nails are really cool. Thank you. I try. These are my real nails. I just filed them down because I broke this one, unfortunately. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do with that? So now I'm here. But I didn't want to file them all down too much because I didn't really want to lose the length on all of them. So I am going to let this one grow out, which will probably take like maybe 2 or 3 months. My nails grow pretty fast. But yeah, I've been also going through my nail polishes and trying to wear them all because I realized I don't. And I was like, well, let me see if I actually like all of these before I go through the trouble of, like, saving them. So, anyway. Yeah. What an incredible artist Taylor Swift is. Drawing people with microphones in their hands. Ugh. One of the banes of my existence. And I have to keep remembering to myself that, like, not everything has to be exactly like the picture is. I want to do a little bit of that railing. Because that was a cool part of the set. Yeah, especially with, like, her song, like, Enchanted and stuff. And, like, Haunted off of that record. Oh, so good. And all of the visuals that she had, like, at the concert were super dope. Even just, like, the term of speak now. Literally, whenever I do these, I, like, just want everyone to not text me, and this is, like, the only time of day that people actually text me. That does not look like a phone. There we go. That's cute. She looked good. She got this fun dress. I don't know what she's wearing on her feet. It cuts off. So I'm probably going to cut it off too. Because I don't care. To draw the legs. What is that other leg doing? I have no idea. But it's a fun dress. Can't wait to color it red. Somebody one time was like, "You have a great radio voice," and I was like, first of all, are you calling me ugly? No, okay. I was like, oh, thanks. That's funny because I feel like my voice is so ridiculously raspy. As a child, I was like, why do I sound like a 70-year-old man? This is not fair. For a second, I was like, why is her guitar always facing in one direction? That's so annoying. And I'm like, well, no kidding, because she plays it like right-handed, like you would. Oh god. It's been a long day and it's only 2. I've been up since 6 though. So I've been up for 8 hours. That's crazy. She's got a braid here. I always loved her hair. And then everyone was like, it's so curly, it's so beautiful. And then she straightened it. People were like, what? No. I'm like, what? Let the girl do what she wants. That, like, the ridiculously, like, hypercritical view of Taylor Swift is what always bothered the crap out of me. I was like, why specifically her? Like, we could shit on so many other artists and we don't. And we are here shitting on Taylor Swift for no reason. I just never understood why people cared so much. For anyone listening on the podcast, this is live. I'm sorry, on like Spotify afterwards. This is live on Governors right now, so I have like people watching, obviously, and I have one person who's watching who is an artist, and they're commenting on like art stuff about this, and I'm like, yeah, you right, and they just said fuck feet. Very true. So before I said I don't want to draw the legs. Feet are so hard to draw. She's obviously be wearing shoes, but like, And she also came out with the song Mean this year. Not this year, but the year that this came out. And it was like a huge like anti-bullying song, whatever. And it's still pretty good, saying kind of like that success is the best revenge kind of vibe, which I kind of agree with. Not that you should be successful just to spite your enemies, but I'm saying like, and success is such a wide range. Sometimes I wish I could just talk about like what I didn't even give her a strap for her guitar over here. Wow. Sometimes I wish I could just talk about stuff like that, and I totally probably could. I just, like, if I advertise that I'm talking about one thing, I normally want to be true to that, especially, like, when this goes live on Spotify afterwards. But, fact of the matter is, I have no idea. I don't remember what the hell I was going to say. I literally have no idea what I was going to say. Where do I want to put her arm? I don't want to draw these hands. Hands are the worst. If you're not an artist, drawing hands is so hard. They're just so detailed in such a tiny amount of space that it's like just so ugh. And the thing is too, like, it's so easy to tell when somebody didn't want to draw the hands because you can just see that like they didn't do it. I'm probably gonna spot color her dresses and then color the background like another color too. I think that's what I want to go for. Maybe I'm just gonna have her holding her heart. Whenever I draw hands, though, I draw them as like little fans first, and then draw them in. She has like a puffier sleeve on. Her thumb is on this side. Figuring out which side the thumb is on is a huge freaking nightmare. Most of the time when I draw, I have to hold up my own hands to see where they would be, like if you held up your hands on you. Okay, so that's what I'm doing for the sketches. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to ink them, meaning like taking a pen and going through, excuse me, and kind of want to have her like coming out of these boxes. And this one goes over that one. Okay. This is gonna look good. Yeah, it's nice. Okay. Let me erase this. So now I'm gonna ink, and I used to have these like, so microns are like really, really good pens. I don't know where those are. I used to have them, and I know they were around somewhere. But for the length of me, I couldn't tell you where they are now. I have a Sharpie. I don't need Sharpie. Because microns are good because they come in a bunch of different sizes. So you can change like what size you want to be painting or drawing in. I don't know where those are now. I'm looking through all of those, trying to find. Yeah, that's not worth the find. But I do have Sharpie, and I hope it doesn't go through the other side. It probably won't because there's paint on it. But we're just gonna ink this. I feel all the thumb comments. Hands are always about the thumb placement. Oh god, it's so bad. So like, picture if you're at home right now by yourself or like with people, like think about how you would draw if somebody had their hands on their chest, like as if they were holding their heart, where the thumbs would be, if it would be facing towards the face or facing towards the floor. Normally what I have to do is I physically have to put my hands on me and take a picture so that I can look at it and know where they're supposed to be, because I can't because I can't conceptualize it. It's hard like to think about something when you can't see it. It's a little thicker than I would like. It doesn't go through. I wish I had microns. I used to. I don't know where they are. I bought some. Oh, I do know where they are. They are in my backpack that I normally take to work. A big giant ball. Somewhere. There we go. Alright, yeah. We're working with fire now, kids. Cooking with fire? Cooking with fire? There you go. So, they look like Sharpies, but they're not. They are micron pens, and these come in different sizes, so that, like, for instance, like a 0.05 is like literally ridiculously thin. Look at that. Are you kidding me? 0.05, and then if you were to have like an 0.8, this is like hella thick. So you might not, like, it doesn't seem like it should be too much of a difference, but when a Sharpie can only give you this line, it's also not a pure black. Microns are supreme. And then you also have like graphic ones that are pretty thick, or like you can use thick to thin. I love the brush one because you can do things like make it really thin and then like press down and make it really thick like that. So they do some good stuff. Basically. So we're gonna pick, my normal go-to is like an 01 or an 02, depending on what I have. Let me just organize these so that I can look at them and be able to see what I want. So brush is like pretty thick, and then graphic is normally after that. They come in packs of size differences, and you can buy them individually, but I will do that if I'm missing like one, but if I'm like restocking for like normal use, I will just buy a pack, because they normally come with like a specific amount of sizes. I think I'm missing a 5. Oh, I have a 5. So it comes in 005, 01, 02, 03, 05, 08, and then graphic and brush. So for reference, this is an 005, which is hella thin and is so useful for tiny drawing specifically. This is an 01. Let me put these back where they're supposed to go. This is an 02, which is just a little bit thicker. This is an 03, 05, 08, which is hella thick. The graphic marker, which is more for like coverage, and then a brush, which is, if you look at the tip, it's like a little bit different. It's like the tip of a brush versus like the tip of a stagnant one is different. But you would be really careful because you could really mess them up really easily. Yeah, micron. So I'm gonna start off with probably my classic fave, which is an 01. And then if I want to make it thicker or thinner, I will. Probably should have the reference photo up. And when you're outlining, you always want to be really precise, because you could severely fuck up your stuff if you do this wrong. Which is why I'm not going to be able to speak for like 2 minutes. Because it's so important that you get this right. Because you can't erase it. You can erase pencil. But you cannot erase micron, which is like kind of the same intensity as Sharpie, but a little bit more because it's more potent black. So I was like, I hope my head's not in the way. And there we are. We're going. Her little nose. I just kind of messed that up, but that's alright. It's funny because over the years I've realized that I mainly like to draw women, and I think that a lot of that has to do with the fact that like you can use hair to cover a lot up. So rather, let me take it back. I don't like drawing women. I like drawing people with long hair or people who wear makeup, because it's so much easier if you mess something up to just cover it with like a supposed makeup than to do it if you like had to draw like a bald head. And like I do draw men and people who don't wear makeup, but I always wondered, like, as a kid, like, why I prefer to draw specifically normally just like women, and now I'm like, oh, because that makes sense. Like when I was drawing Chris Daughtry, I was like, I can't fuck up his head because I can't just put more hair on it because he's bald. Most of the people I've gone to so far have been women. When I do another Neil Diamond concert, I have to not cop out and draw me at his concert. I gotta draw him because I haven't yet, and I've been to him too many times to not. So and as much as I love that microns are different sizes, I do normally try and stick to one size if I'm going to do something, just because I want my line work to be consistent. Probably would have gone with something a little bit thicker if I'd thought this through before. Like if I would probably do like an 02 or an 03 in hindsight, but nobody's perfect. So, oh my god, I keep forgetting to actually talk about the concert. Yeah, it was beautiful, wonderful, amazing. I had such a good time. I would definitely see Taylor again. I would love to know the theatrics that go on now that she's like pretty large as an artist. But man, I don't have money for that. Also, I don't think she's going on tour anytime soon, like I said before. But when she does, I might try and go back and hit her up once more, because, you know, I can't even imagine if she was that incredible back then. I can't even imagine the kind of show that she's putting on now. Would love to see her. And what she used to do at the concerts back in the day was write the numbers 13 on her hand, because I guess that was her, it's like her lucky number. So I just did that. And then it's funny because I go back and forth on how to draw things, or which one I like better. I work mainly as a designer on the computer, and every time that I do a punk rap, I'm like, ugh, I'm so upset that I can't use the computer for this. Like, I can't draw on a tablet, because there are certain things that I'd like to be able to do on a tablet that I can't do with my hands, such as undo. But the reason that I started doing this in the first place, I could have just